For a minute or two, I thought I was in the wrong room. It sounded like this was more of a Texas caucus meeting than it is inviting other members who are not necessarily from Texas. I do claim a sense of association with the great state of Texas because I went to school in Houston, Texas, so Texas is too big for me. That's why I had to leave the state back to my little islands in the South Pacific. I'm deeply honored to be invited to participate in this event to the extent that I noticed my colleague Congressman Poe is here, and there may be a couple others of us who serve on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. One of the responsibilities that I have as chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Asia Pacific and the global environment is oversight responsibility over the Central Asian countries. And I would like to say that it's a remarkable thing that the fact that our Central Asian countries have only been independent or have become sovereign states within the span of the last 17 or 18 years after the Soviet colonial administration prior to that time. And this is also a welcoming development with our friends whose roots are from the Ukraine and from Georgia, from Azerbaijan. I had just visited about 2 months ago Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan, and I hope that in the near future that I will also be visiting Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. I hope that in the coming months I'll be able to visit those countries as well. I think it's important and I'm really, really happy that there is this effort made, and I make this assumption that all of you are Americans, but whose roots are from these very important regions that have just been recently been given your independence from the former Soviet Union, if you will. Face the fact that you were colonies of the former Soviet Union for some 80 years prior to your independence, now for some 17 years. One of the things that is a new development here, even in Washington, is the fact that this is a new area where Washingtonians are trying to figure where in the world are these countries. And this is not being disrespectful of our friends whose roots are from Central Asia as well as from Eurasia. But the fact that this is what makes America such a unique and a very special country, to the extent that probably no other country in the world has more ethnics and nationalities represented here. And I would say that probably the United States is but a microcosm of the entire world, given the fact that all of you, I assume all of you, are U.S. citizens, and nothing wrong with maintaining your roots from your cultural roots from where you are from, especially either from Eurasia or from Central Asia. I look forward to working with some of you whose foundations and organizations are trying to establish linkages between Washington or the United States with those of our friends whose roots are from these new areas or regions of the world. My colleagues have discussed with you earlier about the dynamics of the uniqueness of America as a democracy. I will say that American democracy is not perfect. But one of the things that I always think what makes American democracy so unique and so great is the fact of its ability to correct the mistakes that they make from the past. And I think this is something that perhaps all of you here whose foundations and organizations are trying to establish this communications or linkages and to see what resources that are available from America, take it back to your respective countries and to see what we can do to be of help in whatever aspect of your country's needs, whether it be economically, socially, or whatever it is that America can offer, which I believe tremendous amount of resources available here in this great country that we would like to share with our fellow citizens from Central Asia from Eurasia. And I want to say something particularly for our friends whose roots are from Turkey. I think not enough is said of the fact that more than any other ally, at the height of the Cold War, Turkey, as probably the most critical portion of our defense structure system at the time of the height of the Cold War, as a Muslim country uniquely, and yet never faltered once. There's a Chinese saying that there are many acquaintances but very few friends. And I will say that for this member's opinion, how much I deeply appreciate the fact that Turkey stood with us thick and thin, whatever the calamities, whatever the problems that we faced in the 40 or 50-year period during the Cold War, Turkey stood with us. It's my sincere hope that our European allies express a little better sense of tolerance in accepting Turkey as a member of the European Union. And if it's because of religious differences, that is a very poor excuse, in my humble opinion, that because Turkey is a Muslim country, therefore they have problems in accepting Turkey as a member of the European Union. I think that's ridiculous. Put it in Texan terms, that's baloney. Is that right, Congressman Gomert? But I do, seriously, I want to thank the organizers of this event, Mr. Kadir, our friends from the Gulen and the Turquoise Council. My door is open. I really would like to welcome and to express my deep interest in wanting to make sure whose roots are from Eurasia and these newly developed democracies see what we can do here in Washington to assist you. And there's also a saying here in Washington, if you need a friend, get a dog, because sometimes that's probably the only thing that you can depend on as a friend here in Washington, the way it operates sometimes. But I do want to thank our organizers and thank you for your partnership, and hopefully that this will not be the last like this. Thank you.